Hello. Welcome to another battleship inspection in World of Warships. And we are looking at the Daisen, buddy. Oh, my tier 9 queen, the Daisen. One of my. I don't want to go so far as to say my favorite tier 9 BB. One of them, though. Daisen over Georgia, stay woke. Not really. Georgia's OP. But the Daisen is really good. The Daisen is really good. The Daisen is really fun. One of my favorite tier 9 BBs. Why? Well, you have, we just looked at Baji, right? You have Izumo guns. And yes, I'm probably going to say that word Izumo and Izumo again. You have Izumo guns, railguns, high pen AP. You have one less turret, right? You have four twin turrets instead of three triple turrets. So you have eight guns instead of nine. However, you do have a decently improved reload over the Izumo. It's about It's about 10% faster, right? 3 seconds. So basically, your damage output is almost identical. Now, there are a couple of downsides. So obviously, number one is you have about 10,000 less HP than the Izumo. That is a downside, right? You also have, let's be honest, a pretty dog shit hull. The Daisen hull is about as dog shit as you can really get without having overmatchable extremities, right? You are 32 basically everywhere, but as you can see, you have all, like with Schlieffen or Ruprecht, you have all these casemate secondaries. These provide shell trappers, right? You're 32 everywhere. You don't have a lot of HP. Your Citadel is above water. Unlike Azumo, it's not very well protected. You go flat in this thing, you blow the fuck up. Flat broadside Daisens blow the fuck up, bro. I think in the second replay we're going to look at, I get like full boxed by a one Colorado salvo. It's unbelievable. But, so you have these, and you also have a bit less range than Azumo. You only have 20.6 cam base range. So, we always say battleships aren't DPM ships. This isn't a lot of range. You have railguns with high AP penetration. So, if you watch my channel a little bit, you know that this might be a ship where I would normally recommend range mod, right? On a ship like Daisen, I would normally, you see there, we're getting citadel across the map by Victoria. To be fair, Victoria has crazy high pen, but still, most BBs don't take that citadel, right? So that's a downside. But anyway, this might normally be a ship I would recommend range mod on. If you've watched some of my Sun Yet Sen and my Preussen reviews, I recommend range mod on those. Because this ship has railguns with high pen, you would want extra range, right? And the reload's already pretty good. 27 seconds base, I believe. 27 base. So we're down to 23 with a bit of AR, right? Down to like 24 with reload mod. Why don't I run range mod on the Daisen? Well, that is because look at the fucking spotter plane in the bottom of the screen. Look at it. Would you just look at it, sir? This is, to my knowledge, the best battleship spotter in the entire game. When I reviewed Wisconsin, I mentioned that Wisconsin basically has eye in the sky built in. It's not really quite accurate because Wisconsin has gimped duration time but massively improved reload time, right? If you don't know, the standard BB spotter plane lasts for 100 to 120 seconds and reloads in 240 seconds, right? It's up for 2 and it's down for 4. Wisconsin is up for like a little over 1, down for a little over 2. Massively improved. However, the Daisen is spotter plane is insane. It's up for 4 and it's down for 90. And I mean, here we are fighting two Pomerans, dude. These guys have no chance. Like Daisen will 1v2 two Pomerans. What a dog shit boat Pomeran is in this day and age. My God. So before we get to the torps, that is why I'm not running range mod. We pop the spotter. We have 24.7 km range because we just buffed our range by 20%. What does that mean? Well, that means that our vertical dispersion at 24.7 is the same as what it used to be at 20.6 on its scales. So when we pop the spotter plane in Daisen, we are basically cheesing the vertical dispersion, and that's why you see these fucking insanely cracked salvos that are coming out, where we're hitting like 7 out of 8 every salvo on these broadside Pomerans. Because we're cheesing the vertical dispersion with the spotter plane, because you have 12 fucking minutes of spotter plane, dude. It's up for 4 minutes. You get 3 of them. Only a 90-second cooldown. So while Izumo's longer base range normally gives it about 2% better vert dispersion than Daisen, because you just have the spotter plane up at all times, Daisen's vertical dispersion, like as stated on, say, Ship Tool, is very misleading because you will just always have the spotter plane up, which means you will always be buffing your vertical dispersion by like kind of an insanely large amount, right? So now they also gave this thing insane torps. You get 2 racks of 4 torps on each side. They have for 21 fucking thousand, goes 67 knots. Insanely cracked torps. Um, the ship also has Ohio secondaries. Virtually identical. They have like 1,000 less hitting DPM. They have the same fire starting as Ohio secondaries. They go 0.5 km less range. The Daisen is insane, dude. Now, with that said, I would never build the ship for secondaries because, as we just discussed, the AP gun performance is so cracked. Like, giving up this gun performance would actually be a crime against humanity to build for secondaries. But it's the Daisen's so weird in this sense because I honestly cannot think of a ship that performs so well at medium long range. A battleship that performs so well at long and medium range. And I mean, side tangent, dude, tier 7 BBs into tier 9 BBs is an experience of all time. I mean, we overmatch so much of this Nagato's hull. He overmatches none of mine. I mean, it's like Satsuma fighting fucking Jean Bart or something. It's just unbelievable that this engagement can even is allowed to exist. A tier 9 BB into a tier 7, but you know, here we are, just bullying the fuck out of this guy. But anyway, back to the point. Daisen is one of the most satisfying BBs in the gun performance department at medium and long range. It's so unbelievably fucking satisfying, these guns, dude. And that's why my joke, you know, Daisen over Georgia isn't even really a joke because I'm so addicted to those railgun IJN 410s, and that Daisen spotter plane is the secret sauce, dude. The Daisen spotter is the secret sauce behind why the ship's guns are so good. Because you're always cheesing improved vertical dispersion when you pop the spotter plane. You get in a fight at 18 kilometers, the spotter plane is up, your vertical dispersion is like over 10% better than on paper it's supposed to be, and you're just fucking laser beaming people in this thing. And then God fucking help them if they want to close the range on you, because you've got some of the best battleship torps in tier 9. I mean, especially at close range. Honestly, I don't know if I want to go so far as to say they are the best brawling torps of any BB, but honestly, dude, like, you can see how crazy. Now, the rear ones don't shoot very far forward, and the front ones don't shoot very far rearward, true. But you can see when we use these torps how far forward the front torps can launch. Like, the firing angles are forward are really good. And keep in mind, yeah, you only have 4 torps, but they hit for 21 fucking thousand a hit, dude. Like, you hit 2 torps from Daisen on any BB, and they're just like completely crippled. It's just game over for these guys. So we're pushing in because we've got 2 Pomerans on the island, and my concern is, if you look at the minimap, we can kind of talk about maybe like the gameplay. My team has gotten shit stomped at C, and they have an Allende and a Contorn pushing B. So here's my concern. If I don't run in and 1v2 the Pomerans, which I easily can, right? There's no doubt in my mind I can kill both of these Pomerans for free. My concern is, if I don't decide this fight early and these Pomerans get to camp here and stall us out for like another 2 to 3 minutes, that might give the red team time to pick up like 1 or 2 kills middle and get B, and then we would be in a very bad spot, right? Because we are, you know, we are up a ship, or down. We were down a ship. Now we're even on ships, but our map position is just awful, basically. Fortunately, their Iparanga suicided into a torp, and that kind of changed the math a little bit. But we're pushing in. You know, yes, you can get chunked pretty heavy through the casemate superstructure on Daisen. Superstructure's big. Casemate's a big liability. But against something like a Palmer, dude, I mean, our secondaries are so much better. I'm not even building for these secondaries, right? This is a no build, okay? Zero build for these secondaries. We're at 80,000 hitting DPM and 31 fires a minute. It's obscene. I mean, so when you push in, like you're just randomly one of the fucking nastiest ships in all of tier 9 when you push people. But you see how good these forward firing angles are. So this guy's gonna, what he's gonna do is he's gonna come in. He's gonna try to get his right side torps off because he's already used his left side. But he just shot. His biggest mistake was you saw he just shot, and I think like literally one torp will kill him at this point. Almost. We needed two. Um, you know, if he had held on to that front gun salvo, he probably could have nuked me before I got the torps off because I had to go pretty flat to get them off. But so we get the two Pomerans, and that kind of seals the deal. The points are reversed, by the way. We are actually up like 500 points almost. So between the Iparanga suiciding and us being able to clean up the two Pomerans, that's basically the game over. We've got two enticing cruisers to shoot at, but unfortunately, unfortunately for me, my Alsace was absolutely cooking this game, and he gets two back-to-back dev strikes on the cruisers. I was trying to dev strike. What a bitch! So that game is pretty wrapped up, but we've talked a lot about the gun performance, why it's so superior to Izumo because you always have spotter plane up. We talked about the downsides, kind of a much worse hull, worse HP, but also something that we can kind of address as this replay closes out is the speed, dude. The need for speed that is the Daisen. The Daisen is 7 knots faster than Izumo. I believe it's 35 base. It's not gonna. We're going 36.2. I think we're gonna end up going 36 like 7 in a straight line. The Daisen is fast as fuck. It's actually one of the fastest battleships in the game because of its base top speed, right? You don't need a speed boost, right? Yes, there are ships that can go faster, right? Like Bourgogne. But Bourgogne with speed boost up, keep in mind, barely even goes faster than Daisen without speed boost, right? Kind of like Loria, right? Loria, like I said when I reviewed Loria back in the day, is in my mind actually the fastest battleship in tier 10 because it always goes 40 knots with brisk. It doesn't need a speed boost, right? And the same thing is happening with Daisen, is it's just so fucking insanely fast. Now, I don't run brisk on Daisen, and that is mostly down to the reload. Like you see here on half HP, we're on a 21-second reload. So, and the guns are cracked. You want to just pump damage into people. So it's like, yeah, you can run brisk on this thing, but it's not super stealthy. And you want to be always shooting, right? Is kind of the thing. So we're not running that. But, it is a good skill on Daisen. You do go fast as fuck with brisk. You're going over 40 knots with brisk on this thing, which is insane. Another thing is that you randomly get better turret traverse than Izumo. I believe it's 5 seconds better. It's sub 40. You've got better acceleration, right? I mean, you're 7 knots faster. And another thing, too, is, so, like I said, the hull is objectively bad, right? There's no coping out of this. The hull on Daisen is really bad. Kind of the only way, like I said, to get a worse hull in tier 9 is to lose 32 plating on your extremities. And you don't have a lot of HP, but you're so fucking fast. Like, speed is armor, kind of is how I look at it. Speed is armor, speed is HP, right? There's a reason, like I said when I reviewed Bourgogne, even though I'm kind of a Bourgogne hater, the shitty armor on Borg and the shitty HP pull on Borg is kind of deceiving because the ship is so hard to hit. It's so fucking fast. But the thing with Daisen is it's as fast as a speed boosting Bourgogne, basically. Basically as fast as a speed boosting Bourgogne, but all the time. You don't need a speed boost to go fast as fuck. So you're hard to hit. And then, for some reason, your torpedo protection on Daisen is actually insane, dude. The torp protection on this ship is legitimately fucking insane. Because I think someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but Izumo, we all know Yamato's torp protection is really good, right? But Izumo gets really bad torpedo protection. I want to say it's 30 or maybe even slightly sub 30, which is like crazy, crazy, crazy low. I mean, the sub, here we see the sub just wasting everyone's fucking time, right? But the torp protection is really, really, really bad on the Azumo. And, you know, you would think as like another tier 9 IJN, maybe this would have kind of bad torp protection. Yeah, the only ships that have better torpedo protection than Daisen are the Yamato hull ships and Satsuma. You have 53 motherfucking torp protection on this ship. So that means when you get torped, right? Because as we went over in one of our Dev blog reviews, torps never do max damage anyway. There's about a 92% multiplier instantly applied. So that means that when torpedoes hit you in Daisen, they only really, if they hit, you know, again, if they hit your torpedo belt, they only do about 40 to 45% damage, which is crazy. So if you think about, you know, torping an Izumo versus torping a Daisen, you know, Izumo has about 82,000 HP, 10,000 HP more. Daisen takes like way more torps to die. It's actually kind of appalling. Well, I mean, it's funny because I feel like I'm the only person that plays Daisen. But it's kind of funny how many torps this thing takes to die because it is so little HP, right? And like you'll be sailing around at 40,000 HP and you can hit like 4 torps from any DD and live it. Like it's unreal. Like it is actually unreal. Like you can take like 4 gearing torps, 4 YY torps. You can take like 3 Shima torps main belt on 40,000 HP and live it. Like it's mind-boggling how good the torpedo protection is on that. So that is a gigantic asset that's also like really, really helpful, right? Like we were brawling those Pomerans. You know, imagine if their Pommern torps me and I torp him. Like, dude, it sounds crazy, but like on that HP I had on half HP, he can't kill me with all 4 torps. Kind of nutty. Like if you think about it this way, right? Like Daisen torping a Pommern is down so bad, bro. But like this is a fun little thought experiment. A Daisen hits 4 torps on Pommern, and a Pommern hits 4 torps on Daisen. Okay, this is a very funny thought experiment, fellas. We're gonna go to the next replay, but there's a world where those 4 Daisen torps on Pommern do like 60,000 damage because Pommern has like 25% torp protection. So your 4 torps on Pommern, all hitting main belt, will do like literally 60,000 damage, and his 4 torps, on your 53% torpedo protection belt, dude. Yeah, those will do like 25k. It's fucking madness. Oh, it's fucking madness. All right, let's hop in the next replay. Just had to put that out there though. And of course, we're in the consecutive, you know, we're always with these reviews, we do back-to-back games for the most part, unless there's a reason to skip one, because we're trying to do like kind of the experience, right, a little bit. But you notice, I want to remind you of what happened at the start of that last game. Victoria shot me across the map at a bit of an angle, and I took a citadel, right? 1 shell hit me, 1 shell citadel me. And overall, the stressing point of that last replay was, you know, look at Daisen go, right? Look at Daisen go. Unfortunately, I don't think I end up sneaking the salvo in. Our shell hooks are too good. But we're pushing in. Another really good advantage of Daisen, you know, again, we're going to harp on the speed. Getting like this close in a BB is like very, especially in lower tier where there's a lot of like slower ships. People are not really used to it, right? But so I'm going to remind you of that citadel we took across the map from Victoria. And we're going to take some citadels this game, fellas. We're going to take some citadels that would just, frankly, are absurd to take. I think I even mentioned it doing the commentary of that last replay, but this Colorado ends up like just nuking me. I get nuked by a Colorado this game. It's actually unbelievable. Because this citadel, as you know, we'll look at it in port in a little bit. It is fucking big, boys. It's pretty big. It's not very well protected. It's a downside. Now, it's of course what the battleship players claim to want. I wish ships got punished when they went flat broadside to me. I wish when things went flat, I nuked them. Right, but then they play a ship where that happens and they rage, right? They mauled about it, right? It's why everyone says incomp sucks. I played my incomparable and I went flat broadside to a Vermont at 14 kilometers. I blew up. I didn't only take 30 or 40k like I would in my Montana. That makes it a bad ship. But I still want ships to blow up when they're flat, but only flat to me. Nah. You know, battleship players, right? Because I deserve to take the Citadels. Let's be real. I'm going to deserve to take these fucking Citadels later. Like, I'm going to basically just go like, it's a tier 7 BB. Nice there, though. Railgun Shell Arcs, dude. Railgun Shell Arcs are pretty fucking wicked, man. They're pretty nice. High pen with railguns, dude. Oh, love it. The guns are just addicting. So this Colorado shoots me, and what is the first thing you're going to notice? Is that a Colorado, or is that a 4-gun Elbing? What the fuck is that dispersion? Look at it! It's Elbing dispersion. Nuked. Yeah. I mean, how far away is this guy? I mean, he's 18.5 kilometers. We just lost half our fucking ship to a fuck. Look at his dispersion! Guys, keep in mind, Colorado can't even run aiming systems. This is no aiming dispersion module, Colorado. Look at it! Holy shit, dude. He's the main character. That man is officially the main fucking character. Anyway, though, so we bought out, we go flat, and that's what happens when you go flat. That's what happens when you go flat to a tier 7 battleship, lads. Okay, that's a tier 7 BB we went flat to, and we lost half of our fucking boat. Why is this dispersion so good? It's unbelievable. So, okay, now we're finally fucking angled, right? But you see here, he's getting, like, some wonky damage. Like look at, like, those first 2 turrets that hit me, right? Kind of like, you were pretty well angled. I mean, we were at, like, a 30-degree angle. Yeah, that's down to those casemate. You can see them. You know, we mentioned it briefly last replay, but all of this casemate. Also, this superstructure is, like, really big. A lot of the flat parts even count as superstructure. We'll look at it in port later. The ship is definitely prone to getting random smashed at weird angles. It definitely can happen, especially if people know about it, right? Much like, you know, Schlieffen, Ruprecht, right? I'm always dogging on those boats for having, like, the worst hulls in the game. And again, that is down to the casemate shell traps that those ships have. It's just, it feels bad. And yeah, I'm going to do it again. I'm going to go flat to this guy again. My shells are going to impact at like a 70-degree angle. We get a non-bet on a Colorado. I mean, listen, dude. Wargaming said, listen, he's the protagonist. There's nothing I can do about it. We've got to run away. We're officially retreating now because he's the protagonist. I mean, I'm just like the side-grade henchman in this shitty action movie. I got to run. We got to get out of here, right? So you could definitely get random nuked. And again, if people know, like people who know, like when you play Schlieffen, like, and you fight a Montana at 10 kilometers and that guy just knows to click your casemate. I'm sure you've been there at some point in your World of Warships Schlieffen experience. How fucking bad it feels. And I should have waited, dude. I should have waited. I thought no one else would spot him for me, but he ends up getting spotted again. I think maybe I could have waited like 2 seconds to shoot him and we would have done some more damage, but oh well. But like we start instantly getting secondary hits because, you know, of course we have basically Ohio secondaries, even not even building for them. Like we're just getting a bizarre amount of shell hits on this guy. Fortunately, he gets away on like 1 HP. Yeah, the hull is a big liability. The hull is, I would say, the one part of Daisen that feels bad, man. It's a big downside, and that's why I would call this ship reasonably balanced. It's not overpowered. I mean, okay, like we said with the Baji review, right? It's a battleship in tier 9 that fights tier 9 cruisers. It's overpowered, right? But like, it's very well balanced on the battleship interaction basis because if you fight a Daisen at like nut hair range, then he gets to secondary and torpedo. That's obviously pretty shit. But if you fight a Daisen at longer range, it's almost guaranteed that your battleship will have a less shell trappy hull. And yeah, he pumps out more damage because of his reload. But, you know, like in Iowa, for example, okay? You're in like an Iowa and you angle properly to Daisen, like you'll never lose that fight, right? There's kind of almost no tier 9 BB that has 32 mil extremity platings that should really ever lose to Daisen when played properly. Because what Daisen needs ships to be more broadside than it is, right? Because angling perfectly in Daisen is not like, I don't want to say not a thing, because you still want to angle, right? Because you have an exposed citadel. But the shell traps on the casement are so griefing on this ship that I mean, like, there are games I've gotten 30k by Montana at a 20-degree angle in this thing. Like, it's happened, right? Ships that don't overmatch you just randomly aiming, and the worst part, right? So I mentioned that if people know to shoot you in the casemate, they can nuke you. But the worst part is, okay, we've all had this experience, right? We're pushing in our battleship, right? And we're angled. Say we're angled at 25 degrees and we're fighting another battleship. We've all had this where the moron in the red BB just like randomly shoots your main belt, right? Like he doesn't know any better and he just aims literally dead center mass, right? Like morons, right? Moron BB battleship players, as we know them as, right? They just aim dead center mass on your main belt and they get nothing but bounces. Well, the problem is on Daisen, because of how shit this shell trapper hull is, there are times, man, where it's just like, it's so aggravating because you will be brawling like a Montana in this thing, and he's a bot, and he's like just a clown bot moron who just clicks center mass when you're at a 22-degree angle. And what happens? He just like randomly 15 or 20 Ks you because a few of his shells go high and fuse on your casemate secondary shell traps. Feels bad, man. It really, really feels bad, and that's why I would say the Daisen is pretty reasonably balanced when it fights other battleships, because basically no tier 9 battleship has as bad of a shell, I don't want to say no, but very few BBs in tier 9 that are properly angled will lose to this thing properly angled. Like, if both of you are properly angled, the Daisen player on average will lose the fight because of how bad the shell traps on the hull are, right? Some more plot armor from this guy, as we can see. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. It's a fragile ship. It's fragile in weird ways, and it's tanky in weird ways, right? Like we mentioned with torps, it's bizarrely tanky against torps. 53% torp protection is insane. It basically, the Daisen is weirdly fragile to random AP damage. That's what I would say. Because you don't really care that much about HE spammers because you're super fast, right? But you're really liable in Daisen to take like just like lol pen damage. Like, you're pushing in at a 17-degree angle, a Montana shoots you at 18 kilometers, and you just like lose a third of your boat. Our sub hit one torpedo and got 4k spotting damage, so of course he's MVP. Very cool game design, Wargaming. Thank you. But I would say I get like more. I mean, this was kind of a shit game, right? I mean, I guess we were MVP. We never count subs as MVP because that's not a thing. But the first game, good damage in a short duration game. And I say Daisen's balanced, but it's pretty toxic against cruisers because the reload's too good. I would argue, like, again, this thing on half HP is a 21-second reload. It pops at spotter plane, which is always up. I say pops the spotter plane, but the spotter plane's up for 12 minutes a game. And it has like insanely cracked vertical dispersion with rail guns. So it's like, if you're in a tier 9 cruiser, bro, what do? This thing shoots you and you try to turn out? Well, you have 21 seconds to turn out before you get nuked. Like, it's very difficult to turn out against Daisen because of the reload, which is a big asset that it has. It's one of the most tough BBs in the game to turn out to because, I mean, of the ships with high AP pen railguns, right? The competitors are like, have a much worse reload or worse dispersion, right? And Daisen is kind of like, it's that secret sauce of that spotter plane giving you cracked vertical dispersion, the reload being super comfy, so it's very, like, no BB could turn out against you without taking one salvo at a 45 or more flat angle, right? So it's really, really nice. And it's just the guns, dude. The guns. And then if you have to push and you've maintained a bit of HP, like, the ship is a nightmare brawler. Obviously in a drive-by it can get nuked, but I mean, you know, you have, and you, even again, I never build for the secondaries, but like the secondaries, even with no build, start mega fires. You know, again, no build, 80,000 hitting DPM. I mean, it's like 78, whatever. 80,000 hitting DPM, 31 fires a minute in tier 9, bro, is fucking mental. That is mental fire damage from your secondaries in tier 9. And then you get 88,000 alpha strike. Sorry, not 88,000. You get like 168,000 alpha strike per side of your boat with torps. Like there's no BB in the game. I don't think. I don't really think there's like any BB in the game you can't one shot with a drive by with torps. Like even like a full HP Yamato, if you hit all 8 torps on that thing, that is still like real world 80,000 alpha strike with torpedoes. Like it's unbelievable. And you get good forward and rearward firing angles per set of front and rear torps. So it's just a mega ship. I want to say, was this a dockyard ship? I honestly can't remember how I got it. It was basically like the it. Okay, I think it was a dockyard ship, but don't quote me. Since I've started playing the game, it's been the best dockyard tier 9 BB. Because Wargaming is obsessed, right? We have like Njord, we had I think we had a Wami as well. We had Daisen. Daisen is just like clears them all. Daisen to me is like in the very upper echelon. To me personally, I put Daisen up there with Sun Yat Sen, Georgia, as like my 3 tier 9 BBs. The premium tier 9 BBs that I'm like, I'm one of those guys who only really plays tier 10. You know, when I do tier 9 slumming, as we call it, I'm probably loading up the Daisen, dude. Like, the guns are just that addicting. They really are. And as always, starting with equipment, totally standard. Like I said with Baji, you don't run DCP. Now, I will say one thing, okay? I'm tempted. I am legitimately tempted by spotting aircraft mod 1 for this thing. Because that will give you a 5+ minute spotter plane. Okay? A 30% buff, that is an extra 72 seconds. So you will have 312 seconds of spotting plane time. I mean, I wouldn't invest in that, but it's funny. I mean, hilarious. Because then you only need like 2 aircrafts to cover a whole game. But bog standard BB build, reload mod for sure. I like concealment. You wanna play a bit farther away from people until you push in, right? Daisen is a ship of very like controlled aggression to me. You want to snipe and farm early game, and then very aggressively push isolated ships late game. Um, so and because you're super fast, having that concealment, you can kind of make use of it and get away, which is good. I've been running a kind of standard BB build now. I would probably overall recommend 2.8 skill, especially on Daisen. I believe I have this build from playing Musashi because Musashi is just like legit agony without Grease the Gears. But Daisen, you don't really need it because you see here with Grease the Gears and Reload mod, 32.2 seconds. If I take Grease the Gears off, we'll only have about, what, a 40-second turret traverse, which isn't bad. But the reload's also really good on this ship. And like I say in all of these reviews about Grease the Gears, the better your reload, the more bad turret traverse feels like a pain point. So it is really nice. I will say, Grease the Gears on Daisen is really, really, really fucking nice. But one thing I forgot to mention, I think, is that you have gimped healing in Daisen. You get 1 less heal base. So you really, really can't give up emergency repair expert to cover skills. You really just cannot give up these skills, in my opinion. You could make an argument that you don't need improved repair party readiness on Daisen. I'm open to that argument because the ship isn't really tanky in the way that IRPR works, right? IRPR, leaving out weird things like airdrops coming at you, is most effective when you are tanking battleship caliber AP, because every BB salvo is like 250,000 damage, and you want to tank that. Daisen is pretty bad at tanking BBAP. So you don't really get a lot of value out of IRPR, but at the same time, you have a low HP pool, so you value it that way. I still run it, but I definitely think you could make a case, especially on Daisen. IRPR is a bit of a sus skill. You could definitely drop that for 2 point and grease the gears, right? Or maybe you drop it for brisk, grab preventative maintenance, something like that, if you really wanted to. Um, but I would say overall, what I would do is I would just grab 2.8 skill. I do run gun feeder because I forgot to mention in the Baji review, but this is IJM 410 HE, which means the alpha strike is cracked. The alpha shell damage is like insane. So you don't have a good fire starting with Daisen with only 8 guns. But if people want to bow park you, right? A Yamato wants to bow park you at 12 kilometers. Being able to 8 to 10k them with HE is pretty mega. So I do like shell feeder just for like the fringe cases where people go bow in. But the ship is all about the AP. Just railgun AP, high pen, low impact angle, right? You citadel ships that aren't normally citadelable at certain ranges, right? Like even things like Yamato, they go perfectly flat to you. And you like randomly citadel them at long range. Pretty good. And now we can look at the hull, which is by far the biggest issue with Daisen. Like this part of the superstructure is particularly troll. It doesn't even like make logical sense. Why that's considered like why this is even considered superstructure is so weird to me, but it is like this flat fucking lawn, this flat part. It's just the hull blows. I mean, there's no coping this. You've got like kind of everything bad. You got a big superstructure. You've got horrible casemate pen points. And then that's 305, right? Giant casemate. So even when you don't take citadels, huge casemate. And then the Citadel is a bit out of the water, as you can see here. Now, it is reasonably sloped, but it's just not sloped enough to matter. It's kind of the overall thing, right? Yeah, at this kind of slope, this is effectively like a 1.4x multiplier. Um, so, sure, this is probably more like 100 mils, right? And then 305, but like look at how the casemate is sloped as well. Like it's just totally flat. So like anything coming in only has to punch 400, which like every BB at 20 km can punch 400, right? So and then the turtle back is like if you are 1 kilometer away, maybe some shells will ricochet, right? Because this is about 45 degrees, which is kind of like the threshold. I mean, yeah, we're coping, dude. I mean, you get nuked. You go flat and dies and you get nuked. You angle perfectly, you still might get nuked. But the guns are just so good. The guns feel so good. The speed, the guns, the torps, the secondaries, everything about it just feels so good. It's such a satisfying ship to play. The hull is shit. Undeniably, the hull is some dog ass. But man, just clicking those IJN 410s every like 24 seconds on people with that insane vertical dispersion courtesy of the permanent spotter plane. Like, Wargaming is really cooking with this spotter plane, dude. I can't harp on it. I can't hammer home this point enough that, like, the dispersion is a lie because the spotter plane is always on, right? You go to ship tool and you're like, oh, it has that normal bad IJM vertical dispersion. Even worse than a Zumo because a Zumo has better main gun range. But permanent spotter plane means permanent vertical dispersion buff. And you just get like such cracked salvos out of this thing, like unbelievable god tier salvos constantly, while zipping around at 37 knots, which is mitigating the whole issue quite a bit. God help anybody that you get to brawl because you might die really fast, right? Something like a Montana. If you fight a Montana at 8 kilometers, even if you're angled, he might 3-shot you. He aims right here. I mean, again, like, dude, you aim right here. You're going to get full pens on all this bullshit shell trap, some superstructure full pens and over pens, right? I mean, you can easily 20 to 30k this thing at this angle, at a 20-degree angle. You can easily click Daisen for like 20 plus K. But 80,000 hitting DPM with the secondaries, 31 something fires a minute, um, fucking 160 plus thousand damage alpha strike per broadside torp volley. Like, you got to kill it quick, because if this thing gets within like 6-7 kilometers of your BB, you're just absolutely fucking cooked. Um, I did check before recording the part that this was a dockyard ship. So unfortunately, if you didn't get it, I guess there's no way to really get it. However, like I always mention with these ships that are unobtainable right now, are they worth it when they come back? Right? Like I said with Baji, if Baji comes back, no, you wouldn't buy Baji for coal, or probably even at all, unless you had an Izumo obsession. A Daisen, bro, 100%. If this ship came back for a coal, you buy the ship for coal. Um, it's pretty fucking unique too. Like, it's so much better than all the IJN Torp BBs. Like, I don't think I have it, but like a Wami, it's so much better than a Wami. Um, it's so much better than all these other tier nines. I even enjoy him over Musashi. I mean, Musashi is maybe a little more classically overpowered and broken, but Daisen to me is the tier 9 IJN ship. It is, of all the IJN BB premiums in tier 9, or the nation swap IJN premiums in tier 9, to me, it's Daisen above everything else. Literally even above Musashi for me. Honest to God, I know that probably sounds insane to people. Is Musashi probably overall stronger? Maybe, yeah, a little bit. But the Daisen is just fun, unique, and good. Um, with addicting gun performance. And if it ever comes out for Cole, doubloons, and you're a person who spends money on the game, it's 100% a ship you should get. And I say that as someone who doesn't really even play in low tier. But I make like a exemption for Daisen. Like, this is a ship I will just randomly play. I constantly play Daisen because the gun performance, it's just that good. It's that good and it's that fun. Um, yeah, I am done sucking its dick. We'll end the video. As always, thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next one.